Tuesday, April 18th, 1944. Dear Kitty, everything goes well here. Daddy's just said that he definitely expects large-scale operations to take place before the 20th of May, both in Russia and Italy, and also in the West. I find it more and more difficult to imagine our liberation from here. Yesterday, Peter and I finally got down to our talk, which had already been put off for at least 10 days. I explained everything about girls to him, and didn't hesitate to discuss the most intimate things. The evening ended by each giving the other a kiss just about beside the mouth. It's really a lovely feeling. Perhaps I'll take my diary up there sometime, to go more deeply into things for once. I don't get any satisfaction out of lying in each other's arms day in, day out, and would so like to feel that he's the same. We are having a superb spring after a long, lingering winter. April is really glorious, not too hot and not too cold, with little showers now and then. Our chestnut tree is already quite greenish, and you can even see little blooms here and there. Ellie gives us a treat on Saturday by bringing 4 bunches of flowers, 3 bunches of narcissus, and 1 grape hyacinth, the later being for me. I must do some algebra, Kitty. Goodbye. Yours, Anne. Wednesday, April 19th, 1944. My darling, is there anything more beautiful in the world than to sit before an open window and enjoy nature, to listen to the birds singing, feel the sun on your cheeks, and have a darling boy in your arms? It is so soothing and peaceful to feel his arms around me, to know that he is close by, and yet to remain silent. It can't be bad, for this tranquility is good. Oh, never to be disturbed again, not even by Mushi. Yours, Anne. Friday, April 21st. Dear Kitty, yesterday afternoon I was lying in bed with a sore throat, but since I was already bored on the first day and did not have a temperature, I got up again today. It's the 18th birthday of Her Royal Highness Princess Elizabeth of York. The BBC has said that she will not be declared of age yet, though it's usually the case with royal children. We've been asking ourselves what prince this beauty is going to marry, but cannot think of anyone suitable. Perhaps her sister, Princess Margaret Rose, can have Prince Baudouin of Belgium one day. Here we are having one misfortune after another. Scarcely had the outside doors been strengthened than the warehouse man appeared again. In all probability, it was he who stole the potato meal and wants to put the blame onto Ellie's shoulders. The whole secret annex is understandably het up again. Ellie is beside herself with anger. I want to send in some paper or other to see if they will take one of my stories, under a pseudonym, of course. Till next time, darling, yours, Anne. Tuesday, April 25th. Dear Kitty, Dussel has not been on speaking terms with Van Don for 10 days, and just because, ever since the burglary, a whole lot of fresh security measures have been made that don't suit him. He maintains that Van Don has been shouting at him. Everything here happens upside down, he told me. I'm going to speak to your father about it. He is not supposed to sit in the office downstairs on Saturday afternoons and Sundays anymore, but he goes on doing it just the same. Van Don was furious, and Father went downstairs to talk to him. Naturally, he kept on inventing excuses, but this time he could not get around even Father. Father now talks to him as little as possible, as Dussel has insulted him. None of us know in what way, but it must have been very bad. I've written a lovely story called Blur the Explorer, which pleased the 3, to whom I read it very much. Yours, Anne. Thursday, April 27th, 1944. Dear Kitty, Mrs. Van Don was in such a bad mood this morning, nothing but complaints. First, there's her cold, and she can't get any lozenges, and so much nose-blowing is unendurable. Next, it's that the sun's not shining, that the invasion doesn't come, that we can't look out the windows, etc., etc. We all had to laugh at her, and she was sporting enough to join in. At the moment, I'm reading The Emperor Charles V, written by a professor at Groningen University. He worked at the book for 40 years. I read 50 pages in 5 days. It's impossible to do more. The book has 598 pages, so now you can work out how long it will take me. And there is a second volume to follow. But very interesting. What doesn't a schoolgirl get to know in a single day? Take me, for example. First, I translated a piece from Dutch into English about Nelson's last battle. After that, I went through some more of Peter the Great's war against Norway. 1700 to 1721, Charles XII, Augustus the Strong, Stanislavs Lisinski, Mazeppa, von Gors, Brandenburg, Pomerania, and Denmark, plus the usual dates. After that, I landed up in Brazil, read about Bahia tobacco, the abundance of coffee, and the 1.5 million inhabitants of Rio de Janeiro, of Pernambuco and Sao Paulo, not forgetting the river Amazon, about Negros, mulattoes, Mazitos, whites, more than 50% of the population being illiterate, and the malaria. As there was still some time left, I quickly ran through a family tree. John the Elder, Willem Ludwig, Ernst Casimir I, Heinrich Casimir I, right up to the little Marguerite Francisca, born in 1941 in Ottawa. 12 o'clock. In the attic, I continued my program with the history of the church. Phew, till 1 o'clock. Just after 2, the poor child sat working. Again, this time studying narrow and broad-nosed monkeys. Kitty, tell me quickly how many toes a hippopotamus has. Then followed the Bible, Noah and the Ark, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. After that, Charles V. Then with Peter, the Colonel in English by Thackeray. Heard my French verbs, and then compared the Mississippi with the Missouri. I've still got a cold and have given it to Margaret, as well as Mommy and Daddy, as long as Peter doesn't get it. He called me his Eldorado and wanted a kiss. Of course I couldn't. Funny boy. But still, he's a darling. Enough for today. Goodbye. Yours, Anne.